Hello and welcome everyone. Today we have a wonderful guest and his name is Brett Mooswa. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we're going to talk to him about his content creation and all the wonderful things he has been doing in a very short period of time on TikTok and Instagram. Welcome, Brett. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start at the beginning, I guess. So Brett Mooswa, did I say that correctly?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
okay, and correct. Why is it important to say it correctly? Can you tell us a little bit about your background and where you are located and your origins?
Yeah, for sure. So I am a Plains Cree, or also known as Nihiwa, right? That's how we say it in Plains Cree, Nihiwa. I come from Makwasagagan First Nation, which translates to Loon Lake. That's where I'm from. That's my town here. That's what it's called in English. So Loon Lake or Makwasagagan, that's my reserve, my reservation. I grew up here. I was actually born here. I was one of the last babies born in this town, actually. So that was pretty cool. So a little bit of my background. I live in Canada. I live in Saskatchewan. I've been living here all of my life and everything. I'm a tradesman. I'm a skills worker. So when I'm not doing my TikToks or making videos or whatever, I'm working, right? Like I have a family, 2 leg feet, obviously, right? So I love making videos, right? Obviously, I love sharing comedy. I love sharing laughter. Those are one of the things that I love, especially, right? Because I believe in with my whole heart, healing. Laughter is healing. So that's just that's kind of what I do essentially as far as videos go. And all of my adult life I've been working. So
I came across your videos just by chance, literally not from a friend posting it or anything. I think the beauty of TikTok and Instagram is that it has given us all such a huge voice. The Native community did something that I think is so beautiful. They started sharing their dances. They started sharing their language. They started sharing their, vestments, like everything that is stereotyped, just like in the Hispanic community, but in an educational and funny way. And your videos, your content is specifically very humor centric, but still, I think, very educational. So how did you come about creating these videos, and why do you think they are important?
Well, as soon as I figured out that I have an audience, right? Like I had people that are tuning in and just looking at the things that I've done. And obviously there's going to be a lot of people who don't know about our people, right? And so, I think it's very important just to kind of nub these stereotypes in the bud, right? Like we're not all big stoic people with our long hair flowing in the wind and everything, right? Like going out hunting in the fields and everything. Like we're just normal people. Like we're just going about our day. I've said this before, like I want to make sure people know that we're not unicorns, right? Like we're not these mystical creatures that you only see in the movies, or like I've had a lot of people in comments and like messages, people saying, man, I didn't even know natives were still alive. And I was like, I said this a lot of times also, it's so surreal to see people think that, right? Like people think we're extinct. And like even that alone, like we need to break those kind of barriers, no matter how outlandish they may be, right? So like when I'm using my stoic voice, obviously that stuff comes from like how people would see us in the movies or in TV shows or whatever, right? Like even in cartoons. So it's just like that's like one of the most prominent ways people see us, and that's like not who we are actually, right? Like, and people here's the thing, and I want to make this very clear: being stoic, it's not part of our culture. It's just a way of enunciating words and like the accents and everything, right? People think that's our culture. It's like, whoa, look at he's being stoic and like doing this and that. That's so culturally beautiful, right? And some people think I'm appropriating that, and that doesn't make any sense, because that's literally not who we are, right? Like it's just kind of like if you're gonna know our culture, you have to know our sun dances, our powwows, our dances and singing, all that stuff, right? That's our culture, right? So being being stoic or is like saying things in a certain way. That's just
the stereotype.
It's just it's just a stereotype, and that's just like one of the things that I just want to blow off the handle, right? Like, this is not who we are. I'm gonna make fun of it. I'm gonna put humor into it. People are gonna know, say, okay, so this is all just movies are just making it seem like I said, we're just unicorns, right? So and humor is go ahead.
No, humor, you were gonna say.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say humor is like one of the outlets that I find where people will really engage in what you're saying, right? Because people will like want to laugh, but then as they're like laughing, and like you said, some of my stuff is educational, and I believe that also too, right? Like when I'm doing a humorous video, there's going to be truth into that video, right? Like of kind of like of who we are as a people, right? And so it's such an amazing place to be, where I can just be myself and share the ideas that I have and the way that I want to do it. And people will look into that and they'll see, oh, okay, so this is obviously funny, and it's obviously very educational, and it's nice to see people engaging in this what's the word for it, spectrum of what we do and everything. So not only humor, right? Like obviously there's like dancing, and even that too, right? Because dancing is healing. If you look at the jingle dress, right, that is a healing dance, and it's so great to see a lot of jingle dress that dancers on TikTok, and they're just being who they are, right? Like they obviously I always say this, man, like you have to be who you are all the time, right? Like don't try to be somebody that you're not, because you're not going to be happy with your content, or you're not going to be happy with just the way things are generally going in your like life, right? So always be yourself, do what you love. And I think people will see that through the content that you make. Is like, oh man, because it's so genuine, right? And that's one thing that I always want to be with myself. I want to be genuine in everything that I push out. So yeah.
Well, I also, I've seen that you also do some sort of spoken word, and you also address like the beats in music that are so similar to native beats, right? So it is all interconnected, and the fact that we are not aware of that is just part of the education, right? That we all just assume, oh, this is like the same beat that I've heard all my life, but we don't know the roots of it. And you touch upon it, right? Be true to yourself, know your roots, because that's the importance of what's going to make your life meaningful and enjoyable. But some of your spoken word touches upon the hardships of your community, and the reality of mental health, of depression, of suicide, of all of those things that you have experienced in your community. So how has this content creation and being able to express those feelings through spoken word helped you, or maybe even helped other people that have told you, hey, thanks for posting that?
Making videos, especially like spoken word and everything, it helps me a lot, just truly to gauge my where I'm at mentally, right? Like it's so important to always take care of yourself. Even it's such a how can I say this? Mental health is very important just as much as your physical health, right? And so like I've spoke on some certain things in my videos where like I touch on certain aspects of my life, but not to go into like so much detail, but to just to share where I've come from, like the things, the places where I've been, right? Like it's such a contrast to where I am now, and it's so great just to share some bits of my like life that like maybe people can relate to, because I've had people in my comments, people in my messages saying, man, I was just about to kill myself until I seen what you were posting and everything. And that's the thing, right? Like it's just that's the thing that just makes me aware of, okay, I see the people that are watching my stuff, right? Like, so I have to, like I said, you always got to be true to yourself, right? And people are going to see that in your videos, and people do see that. And that's the confirmation that I need, right? Like because obviously like I've dealt with a lot of things in my past, right? Like I've dealt with a lot of loss. I've dealt with I can say this now, but like I've uh, I've had people in my life where I needed them the most, right? Like essential people that are supposed to be there, like a father figure, right? And so for most of my life, like I didn't really have that, right? And it's so I think it's very important to just to always talk about your issues, right? Like don't hold anything in, let it out. Because the way I'm gonna heal is to talk about it, right? Like you have to talk about it with people that you trust. I think that's very important also. So just speaking about what you're going through, that's healing in itself, right? So yeah, it's been such a roller coaster, right? Because obviously if you notice in my content, I've I'll take like a month off just of not posting anything, and that's just like for myself, right? Because I need to be in a good place of mind if I'm gonna post something. Because if I'm not, I'm not gonna post it because otherwise it's not gonna be what I want it to like be, right? Like the things that I love, it's just gonna be things that are holding me back or holding me down. So it's always a good idea, I think, to take a break when you need to, like know when you're kind of mentally drained, right? Because sometimes that's how I feel. Like sometimes I feel like, oh man, like I'm getting mentally drained with my job, with what I want to do, right? Like everything is like sometimes it's just a balancing act. So sometimes I just take myself out of the picture, right? And I step back and I just to gauge where I'm at right now, right? So I need to take mental breaks with myself, and it's helped me a lot, right? Like it's just like yeah, like I because I have nobody to like what's the word for this, to like say, like if this was a 9 to 5 job, I have nobody to say, hey, you have to post this now, right?
Yeah.
Like it's and so I think that's a very good thing about that too, right? Like I'm my own person, and I can do what I want, share what I want when I want to.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very important. So yeah.
So two things from that, like, yeah, it's incredibly important. And it's so great that you're aware of your mental health and that you're sharing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been even articles about influencers becoming depressed because they have to keep up because
Exactly.
people are expecting their content. But so for you, thank you for sharing that about people sending you those messages of help and of support, because it's so important. You've created a community, right? So for you, and especially with your roots and your background, how would you describe the importance of building community?
That's a very good question. Community means community to me would mean building um, building a strong foundation with the people that you trust the most in your like life, right? Like if you're gonna, like you have to have pillars, I think, right? Like say if you're having a bad day and everything, who are you gonna turn to? Who are you gonna run to, right? Like you have to establish a good base for yourself when you're, if you're like if you're gonna pursue being a content creator, like an influence or whatever. I think it's important to establish a base for yourself. How are you feeling? Who are you gonna talk to? I have people in my life that I talk to about what I'm going through, right? And so like I'm not just like I have to practice what I preach all the time, because you'll see, like I've seen so far in this influencer community, like I've seen people just be soaked in with this social media where like it kind of changes who they are, right? Like it's they get so consumed with what's the word for it, egotistical. Like I've seen that happen lots, like I've seen it happen all the time. And it's from people's like, wow man, this guy's so awesome, and then boom, they get this little bit of juice, right? From like whatever they're like doing and everything, and it totally changes them. And I see that all the time, and that's something that I think as an influencer we have to be careful with, right? Like we have to be careful with how the way we're going about ourselves in our community, right? Because that kind of attitude can spread like wildfire. And I also say this too, is that in a way, being as an influencer, you have to be, I don't know what the word is for, I don't really want to say selfish.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the mindset of like doing this kind of work, right? Like you have to make, okay, look at what I'm doing, look at what I'm pushing out. And that's okay, just to be honest, that's one of the things I have a very hard time doing, because it feels so disingenuous to like the person that I am, right? Like I don't want to tell people, okay, look at what I'm doing, look at this, look at what I'm pushing out, look at my clothing lines, right? Like it's it doesn't feel right. Like it doesn't feel right with me. And that's one of the things that I have to be comfortable with, right? Because I'm an influencer, right? So it's
but I think you hit it in the nail, because you're genuine, right? I think that's the difference. And you were sharing with me before we started the interview, you're a father of 2. So I think that keeps you very grounded, because not only do you have to be there for the community that you created, for the community that you live in, but also for the community of your home, right? Your wife and your 2 kids. Like you have to be real, because they're learning that from you, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I also want to share too, just like my son sees everything that I'm doing, and when he does, he wants to be just like me, right? Like he just like he wanted like he's just a genuinely funny kid, and he just wants to he wants to do videos and like skits and everything, and I'm like I'm all for it, right? So yeah, like you said, we just got to be the person that we are, right? Because my son watches my stuff, he knows who I am, right? So obviously, like it's just the those are the things that we got to be looking out for.
Now you have over 750,000 followers on TikTok, over 85,000 followers on Instagram, and growing. I mean, as this progresses and you continue creating content and you continue with your clothing line and seeing, what the future holds, ultimately you started this for your native community, right? And to educate and break down stereotypes using comedy. What do you hope for in the future?
I hope to where this leads is that people will start to see us, that I just want it to be seen that like we are here, right? Like the First Nations of this continent, we are here, right? Like I want people to see us as people that are prospering, right? Like it's I just want my communities and like in Canada, in the States and everything, like I want people to see us as people that can do it just as good as anybody else, right? Like like if you look at the show Reservation Dogs, that's such an incredible show, and it's just like I almost cried just like watching that stuff, because it's so great just to see Indigenous performers just doing what they love, right? Like as far as the writing goes, in the directing and the actors, right? Like it's so great just to see Indigenous dominant show, and that's what I want to see more of, right? Like if I'm a part of it, or like if I'm just influencing people just to step up in that game to pursue what they want to do, that's the kind of influencer that I want to be. I want to make sure that I'm doing my part and telling our youth especially, you can do this and you can do it better. You can do it better than I ever can, because I know that like I'm breaking ground, like I'm making footsteps for our youth to follow into, and I'm humbled by it, and I'm just like I'm honored to be in that position where like I'm having people following in what I'm doing, and it's so great. Like I hope with all my heart that people that our Indigenous youth are gonna pursue this, and they're gonna do such amazing things. They're gonna go far, acting, singing, whatever they want to do. I just hope that like I just hope that I left a good a good footprint. That's the best way that I can put it. I just want to leave a good footprint for our youth to follow in, and that's as much as that I can, or any of us can really hope for, right? Like, yeah.
Of course. No, and I think you said it so correctly, right? It's just like we're breaking ground.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that we're no longer in a time period where we can be ignored or we can be overlooked. Because
absolutely. Yeah.
thankfully, thanks to social media, we can see your content, right? We can see, Asian Americans, we can see, people from around the world in Africa sharing culture through TikTok and Instagram. So we're more united than ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But also, obviously, we have to educate, right? So I think that's the importance of what you're doing, and I think that it's very commendable. So what do you hope, I guess, now for the rest of the year, at least for 2021? Do you have any upcoming projects or anything that you're working on specifically for this venture that it's solely yours?
Well, not to get into too much detail, but like I'm in talks with some producers for getting into hopefully piloting some TV shows that can be pretty good. Like I have some high hopes. So as far as all this stuff is going, that's as much as that I can really hope for with myself. Like as far as content creation goes, I don't know how far I want to pursue this yet. Like if I want to go further or everything, but I have full confidence in myself that I can take this as far as I need to, and that's very important. But I just sometimes like I feel like, okay, maybe I've done enough. Maybe I don't need to do it anymore. But then I always get people commenting and messaging, "Oh man, this is so good. Thank you so much for this video. It's helped me. It's healing me." And that's what really drives me to make more content, right? So people need healing all the time. So I might be doing this all my life, right? Like even if it's like obviously not only on the camera, right? Like I want to do this everywhere that I go. And like you said, I also have a merch line coming out really soon here, and I hope that does well and and in my path and everything. And that's just kind of what I want right now. Like I want to get into acting, obviously. Like if it comes, I'm gonna pursue it, right? Like I'm not gonna not hold myself back from these opportunities. I think it's very important because, like I said, I've been a tradesman all of my life. So sometimes my body hurts, right? just from doing things that comes with the job. So it'd be great to step out of that area and just to really do what I wanted to do, what I love to do, right? Like I love to lift people up and to heal. That's something that's been that's something that's been put into me from our elders, like my gugum, that's my grandma, and my mushum, that's my grandfather. They did the same thing that I'm doing, right? They just didn't have a camera or this and that, right? So like you said, social media has really pushed us to limits that we haven't even reached yet, to be honest, right? Like we're kind of really just touching the tip of the iceberg here and everything. And I think the potential is there for every single one of us. And one thing that I want to say too is that some people get nervous or they get scared when they want to make content and everything because they feel like they won't have an audience. But there's literally an audience for everybody on social media, right? Like in the indigenous community, there's an audience for everybody. And sometimes I see people getting scared with the things that they post or whatever, whether it be comedy or dancing or whatever, right? Like I've talked to some people where like, oh man, I don't want to do it because someone's already doing it, right? And that's that's one of the things that we need to get out of that mentality where if somebody's doing it, okay, well, guess what? I can do it too, and I'm gonna do it in my own way. I'm gonna do it because I love to do it, right? Like if you want to do humor, do it. If you want to do dancing, do it. If you want to sing, do it. Do it because you love to, right? So
Exactly, because you enjoy it, not compare yourself to other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go.
And like I said, and to our audience, it's like you are the audience. So if you want to see more of it, just with those comments, or like with a show or with a movie, the audience also has the power. You can ask for it. And I think that us as content creators, we are putting it out there for you to ask more of it. But also, like Brett said, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. But even if you don't want to be a content creator, you're watching this, you can help more of us who are minorities get out there and be seen by asking for it, right? I think that is also so important and valuable as part of your content, because you're literally in every post asking people, like feedback and attention. You're not just saying like, here it is, take it. Just like there's a community. Like I said, you have built a community, and I really, really hope that it keeps growing. And I'm excited for you, because you can feel it when you watch your videos. You can feel that you love what you do, and I love that message.
I appreciate that.
That you are authentic yourself. You love, as long as you're loving what you're doing, do
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, Brett. Well, thank you so much for this time that you gave us, because I know you, like you said, you work, you're a husband, you're a dad to 2 kids, and you're doing this. So you're a very busy person. But I sincerely appreciate it. And like your audience and, all your fans have said it on comments and through messages. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the representation to the Native community, and for the laughs.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on here, and thank you for all the awesome questions. Thank you. It was absolutely great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.